Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Super Strike event for Grandpa Gohan. So this is the brand new Super Strike revamp, and this is the masked martial artist. Now, Super Strike revamps are great for a lot of reasons. I actually think the Super Strike units are always pretty decent, not game breaking, but I always think they're a lot of fun. And actually, I think it's a great way to get a bunch of stones. I think each one brings like 22 stones or something, so there's a ton of value in this event and in finishing these events. So yeah, really awesome stuff overall. Now, obviously, in terms of Grandpa Gohan, there's a couple of things you need to know. So the first stage drops his copies of himself in SR form. The second stage drops the medals to awaken him to AUR. The third stage drops the medals to awaken him to TUR. And then the final stage drops the medals to Extreme Z awaken him. So Grandpa Gohan looks pretty cool. Very interesting unit, I would say. He looks very good, obviously alongside the Kid Goku, which I think is something very important. And he also looks pretty solid on a Goku's family team, which is mainly going to be where you're going to see this guy. Goku's family or DB Saga, and yeah, basically just a pretty straightforward situation. Now, obviously beyond that, there are some missions. The missions are pretty straightforward, and we'll complete them as we go along. So hopefully I'll be able to help you guys out and show you the correct way to complete all the missions as much as possible. So yeah, pretty decent stuff. Now, obviously, beyond anything else, I think for the most part, players should be able to follow along pretty easily, and you should be able to handle things pretty simply. Obviously, if there are issues, just let me know, but you shouldn't really have too many major problems. Turtle School is the bonus category, and luckily it's a very strong free-to-play supported category. You have units like Prime Battle Krillin, units like the free-to-play Goku, you have units like the Master Roshi LR, who's a lead for the category, and just overall, you can bypass all of this and build a pretty much full Goku's family team based off of Turtle School alone. So you got plenty of options. There's nothing too crazy that you need to do. So very simple. Now we're going to be taking on the first stage. You're going to want to use Oolong or Bulla and Vegeta support memories if you want to cut down on the amount of time that it's going to take for you to essentially take on this event. Now, just a couple things to cut a long story short. So when it comes to farming the number of copies of Grandpa Gohan, as always, you're going to want to make sure that you farm 15 copies of Grandpa Gohan from this first stage. And the reason is you need to make 2 copies of him. You need to make 1 copy that's SA10, and you need to make 1 copy that's SA5. That's pretty much it. There's no other reason to actually like take on the event. No other reason. There's no other reason to pull that many copies of Grandpa Gohan. It's all just realistically to obviously kind of build 2 copies of them, and you're going to feed that second copy into the first copy relatively soon, because Super Strike units have a max SA level of 15 before they EZA, so they actually have a much higher level of super attack level than normal units. So they go from SA 15 to SA 20, and so basically you are pretty much going to want to try to have 2 copies of them. The rest of the copies you'll get from the missions, so there's no real need to farm any more than the 15 that I specify. But yeah, that is basically it when it comes to the first stage. What we're going to do is we're going to jump back as soon as I've farmed all the copies, and I'll just show you guys what to do. Please remember, you do get 1 copy from the missions, so you can claim that now and it'll lower your time. And yeah, so you'll see we cut back, jump a little bit ahead in time. Woo, the power of future. And if we go to our character list, you'll see we have 2 copies of Grandpa Gohan. So 1 copy is at SA5, and then we have a second copy that is at SA10. Now, it's just important that you lock your SA10 copy. You don't want to accidentally use it or accidentally feed it into another unit, etc. As this is going to be the unit we're going to open all the hidden potential piles on. So anyway, before we get to that stage, we need to do the second stage. And you can see we can collect some more missions, nothing too crazy here, just some Zenny and training items. Now we need to complete stage 2. Now completing stage 2 will give you Turtle and Bulma medals. These medals you need to awaken Grandpa Gohan to a UR state. And also completing stage 2 will drop his UR medals. Now you need 7 of these per copy of Grandpa Gohan, which means since we are going to have to awaken both copies of Grandpa Gohan, then you're going to need to have 7 medals each, which basically means you're going to need to have 14 medals in total. So pretty straightforward process. Obviously something I think a lot of players will understand the concept of. So again, super simple stage. This time the Master Roshi that you're fighting will actually be a 2-stage fight. So you'll fight him and then fight him again. It's nothing too crazy, again, not too difficult at all. Very straightforward process. So you shouldn't really have any massive issues. Again, as long as you don't have any crazy issues, I don't see anyone having any huge problems with this section. All you have to do is get the 14 medals, because you need to awaken both copies. If you don't awaken both copies, then you're not going to be able to feed the one Grandpa Gohan into the other, and that's obviously just not distinctly ideal. So yeah, that's obviously something that just to kind of bring to your awareness, that you do want to make sure that you can farm that amount of medals for Grandpa Gohan. Now once you've done that, because we'll be skipping ahead, once you've done that, what you're going to do is obviously you're going to claim the Turtle and Bulma medals, and then once you've found the 14 medals, you're going to go awaken both copies. And then there's quite a process involved with the awakening of both copies, so you'll see what I mean when we get there. So first let's claim the medals for Bulma and Turtle. Fantastic. Then we're going to go back to Grandpa Gohan, and we're going to awaken both copies. So we're going to, as you can see, awaken both copies. This will enable Grandpa Gohan to access level 100 and also his hidden potential system. So this is super important for the next part of the missions, because this is where things get a tiny bit complicated. So first, before you do anything, before you go back to the event, what you're going to do first is you're going to train your SA10 copy of Grandpa Gohan, and you're going to feed the second copy of Grandpa Gohan into him. That's going to give you max level 15. That's also going to give you to level 80. Once you've done that, you can then awaken Grandpa Gohan into his UR state with your standard medals. Awesome. Now that you've done this, here comes the kind of not complicated, but the somewhat just messy kind of collection missions part. So we've got Grandpa Gohan, we've awakened him, we've got him to level 100. Now the only step forward is to further Dokkan awaken Grandpa Gohan. Now we're not going to do that just yet. If you go back to the event missions for the Super Strike, you will see that we've completed a couple of them, and a couple of those missions actually give us copies of Grandpa Gohan. They also give us a reversal medal, but we don't need to use this. So we're going to grab these copies, and then we're going to go back to Grandpa Gohan, and we're going to awaken his hidden potential system. So awakening the hidden potential system, you have to have the unit in a UR state. And then as you can see here, we are going to open up every single path, which is fantastic. And then after that, we're going to collect the last bit of mission rewards, and you should have, if you've done everything correctly, 5 additional copies of Grandpa Gohan. Now, I don't think these are going to go to waste. These are going to be very important for when we easy Grandpa Gohan, as they're going to allow us to get his SA to 20 without having to use any Kais. So far, so good. Obviously, quite a lengthy process. We're going to collect these items, hidden potential orbs, and the final remaining Grandpa Gohans. And if you go back, you should see there exactly 5 as planned. So everything going according to plan so far, and now it's time to get his Dokkan Awakening medals. So his Dokkan Awakening medals are pretty straightforward. You need 10 per copy. You are going to have to Dokkan Awaken both copies of Grandpa Gohan. So that's your next step. That will be stage 3. And this one is probably where things start to get very, very simple. So go to stage 3, start stage 3, and then simply clear it with Turtle School units, of course, and you should be able to have a pretty rock solid time when it comes to getting his medals. Like I said, it's 10 per copy of Grandpa Gohan, so I don't think you guys will have any major issues with getting his medals. These fights are actually simpler than the previous round. You only have to face the boss once, so very, very, very simple. I don't see you having any massive problems. Obviously, you still can, so that is, you know, something that can occur. I'm not going to, you know, sit and say it can't occur, but yeah, basically, to cut a long story short, this one's fairly straightforward. I think for most people at this point, they should be quite comfortable with the next couple stages, like as in completing and doing all of these. But obviously, if you know you are having issues or you are having problems, that's also more than fine. You can continue to follow along with the video. I'll gladly give you whatever support you need. But yeah, generally speaking, you shouldn't really have like any major problems. Yeah, I think for the most part, you should be sitting pretty good when it comes to like the process and everything you need to handle and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, honestly speaking, I think super strikes, like I said, are always good. I enjoy the super strikes a lot. I think they are really, really solid, and they are honestly just a lot of fun. Like they are just always a bunch of fun, at least for me. I just think they're really, really great. So yeah, that's getting his TUR medals. Obviously, just a full-on kind of disclaimer. You're going to need 10 for each, 20 in total. Shouldn't take you too long, but it does require a lot of stamina for the stage. So some players might reach their stamina cap here. I obviously used some meat to extend my stamina cap. But yeah, pretty much now comes the final step. So here you're going to basically awaken your unit, and then you're going to max level them. Then what you're going to do is you are going to also train the other unit, and you're going to awaken him as well. Train him so that he's got SA5, that'll be easy, and then you're going to awaken him once, and then Dokkan awaken him so that everything's pretty damn sorted. So yeah, honestly, all looking pretty good, I want to say. Everything's looking really, really solid. For me, at least, I think this is the process that'll happen every time. So if you're used to it, you should be used to it by now, and pretty solid. So as we can see, now the only step left is to beat the final stage. Now there are some conditional requirements for the final stage if you want to get the medals as quickly as possible. There's some for beating it within a certain speed. There's some for beating it with having Goku Youth on your team and with having only a Turtle School team. So just kind of like a full disclaimer on 2 of these. So I did them obviously separately. I didn't complete the speedrun challenge. And when I was building this team originally, so you're going to see me build this team here. This team won, but had a huge problem with the fact that the Goku Youth I used was Goku Youth Grade Ape, and that does not count. So you actually need to use only a Goku Youth unit. So that is something that I will just point out. But yeah, basically, to cut a long story short, I did make a little bit of a screw up there, but it wasn't really too much of an issue. A couple of things I will point out when we change the team, obviously. But yeah, one thing I will say, and I would like to point out, Grandpa Gohan has God as a mechanic. So he only takes a lot of damage from units with type advantage. So you need to hit him with units that have type advantage. You'll see that I've adjusted the team The team's been adjusted to include an actual Gohan youth character, which is obviously super important. And then also it's just been adjusted slightly to be a full Goku's family team of free-to-play units, just to make things a little bit easier as well. We're going to rely heavily on the SS4 Goku to do a lot of damage. We've got the Chi-Chi and the Goku who do a lot of damage as well. They're going to be very helpful for the strength phase. And then, the rest is all pretty straightforward. So one thing I will point out is obviously the whole Turtle School requirement is still fulfilled by this team. So hopefully that is able to help you guys out. But yeah, we still managed to fulfill the Turtle School requirement. It's just that, yeah, you do basically have to kind of do a little bit of a wangle here or there. But for the most part, it's all pretty straightforward. Honestly, it's not anything too crazy, I want to say. It's all relatively simple. It's just the SS4 Goku, the change up to have that strong AGL character does help us out a lot. So yeah, so beyond that, let's talk a little bit about Strength Grandpa Gohan, because obviously he's getting his ECA, his Dokkan Awakening and everything. He looks like a pretty fun, pretty interesting unit. So he's a Strength type lead, will keep +3 HP attack and defense of 77%, nothing too crazy. He raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy and lowers attack. It's nice that he lowers attack and raises his own attack and defense. It's always something that's helpful in SBR quite substantially. Then we have Ki +3, attack of 100% and defense of 150%. He then has an additional defense of 100% and gives all allies attack and defense at 20% when there's another Goku's family category ally on the team. It's pretty easy to do on all of his categories. He then gets an additional attack of 50% and gives all allies attack and defense at 20% when there's an ally whose name includes Goku Youth attacking in the same turn. He then has attacks effective against all types when the target enemy is stunned or the target enemy's super attack is sealed, and he has a high chance of guarding all attacks when the HP is 58% or less. So something that's really cool about Grandpa Gohan is that he's a 40% conditional support, which is really helpful. To be a 40% support is always something that's super duper helpful. And his requirements aren't too bad. Grandpa Gohan actually unironically links pretty well with a lot of Goku Youth units, so you don't have a problem trying to run him alongside Goku Youth. And also his first requirement of just requiring a Goku's family team member isn't limiting at all. If you look at his teams, he's on Goku's family, DB Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, Otherworld Warriors, Earthlings, Turtle School, Time Limit, Bond of Parent and Child, and Warrior Raised on Earth. Honestly, Earthlings is probably the only category where I would say Grandpa Gohan suffers slightly, because of the fact that you can't really get a Goku Youth category character on the team, and I don't think you can get a Goku's family member unless you have another Grandpa Gohan, which is also quite fine still to run. So even then you still kind of can get the Goku's family, and some Chi-Chis also count as well. So overall, honestly, actually not even that difficult. Just the Goku's Youth you're going to struggle to get. But if you look at his overall categories, DB Saga is easy, Goku's family obviously easy, Bond of Master and Disciple pretty standard to have a couple good Goku family characters there. Otherworld Warriors, there's even some units there that are good, quite a few units that are on Goku's family there. Earthlings, as we mentioned, Turtle School, Time Limit, Bond of Parents and Child, and Warrior Raised on Earth. All pretty stock standard stuff realistically. In terms of Link skills, he's got all in the family, Turtle School, Bombardment, Incredible Adventure, Guidance to the Dragon Ball, Super Strike and Shattering the Limit, which is all pretty strong. Super Strike and Bombardment are obviously the two links I think that are kind of out of place. Whereas, obviously Guidance of the Dragon Balls and Incredible Adventure are super common Dragon Ball Saga links, which are great. And he's also got some really strong links like Turtle School and All in the Family. So just sharing those with any Kid Goku, which he does, by the way, gives tons. All those links together, I think, give a total of like 47% defense and almost like, I think something like 50% attack or something, which is pretty nuts. 7% crit chance, key, there's just everything. Obviously, I think, you know, it's very apparent that the strategy is to link him up with Goku youth units, and I think that's more than fine. We are also in a really good situation where we are getting a really good Goku youth unit, which I think also tends to help the situation. And we're just going to blow him up with the active skill from SS4 Goku, really just absolutely destroying his father. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. But yeah, honestly speaking, I think, yeah, for the most part, Grandpa Gohan looks like a really fun unit. And I actually really enjoy how he looks as a unit. I think he could be really fun. And really good to run with some exciting Goku Youth based units. So yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Obviously, we're just going to skip ahead to where we've done all the reciprocating missions. And we've done all of them, so now we're going to claim them. And we're simply going to awaken Grandpa Gohan and then do the final step of his EZA. So looking very good. I think, you know, for the most part, this guy is very solid. I'm excited to see how he does in our review. So we'll definitely be taking a look at him with the review at 100% in the hidden potential system, as we always do for Super Strike units. And yeah, that's basically it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously, go back to the event, claim your stones. There's a ton of them. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. But otherwise, obviously guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any queries at all about what to do or what steps to take, then feel free to give me a shout. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.